Hi, this is Theo from PuckerBlocks.com. Today I'm going to review the Classics watercolor set from Prima Marketing. These are the 3 watercolor sets that I have bought on Amazon a few months ago. They are made by Prima Marketing, and this set here is the Classics, which I'm going to review today. I also have Tropicals and Decadent Pies. Now the review for these two are in their own separate video, so you might want to check them out. The link will be in the video description below. Currently Prima Marketing, they have 5 sets altogether. The other 2 which I do not have are Shimmering Lights and Pastel Dreams. I'm not sure if I'm going to review those 2. So today let's take a closer look at the Classics. This is the metal box that comes with the colors. There are 12 colors, and there's this empty space here where you can put more pens of colors, but you probably need to put blue tack below to basically just stick down those pens because there's no metal holder to hold them down. Overall, I think this metal box itself is quite good because usually if you buy an empty watercolor box like this outside, it will cost around US $15 to $20, but with Prima Marketing you get the box and colors, so I think it's quite a good deal. And let me show you the other sets just to let you do a visual comparison. So this is Tropicals and this is Decadent Pies. From what I can see, these two, they have rather vibrant colors. The colors, they look a bit muted, so I'm going to show you some color charts to let you see the difference. This is the color chart of Classics. So there is one white, this is some sort of rose color, and usually for this type of colors they are not light fast, so be careful. This is some warm color, looks like a fire engine red to me. By the way, there's no light fast information regarding all these colors, and all these colors, they do not have names as far as I know, unless there are some names hidden on their website. But anyway, they are actually denoted by numbers, like this is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, so the numbering is not very descriptive of the colors. So we have a bright orange, we have a yellow, this looks like a Hansa yellow medium to me. This looks like a sap green. This is some sort of cerulean blue but a bit brighter. And this is ultramarine, looks like it. And this is some sort of violet, burnt umber, if I'm not wrong. I'm not sure what gray color this is. And this is some black. Now the colors, they are semi-transparent, so that's quite nice, but when you mix them, just be careful because semi-transparent with another semi-transparent, they tend to lose their transparency. So let's compare this with Tropicals. So with Tropicals, we actually have 3 primary colors for yellow. This is some sort of yellow ochre, which is very convenient for mixing skin tones. We have 2 reds for Tropicals as well. Now the red for this is, I like this red is very strong, but this is a cool red and it's not as strong. So we have a brown as well, 3 greens, 2 blues, which look quite similar to each other, and 1 purple. So when I compare this with this, I'm not sure which one I prefer because each set comes with their own colors, individual colors. There are some colors that you just cannot mix with that particular set. For example, with this set, I have this cerulean blue-like color. With this color, I cannot mix a deep dark green because if I mix this with this, I will get something like this. It's not a deep dark green, something like this. I won't be able to get this. So that's the limitation with this set. And also this, I think this color is quite limiting as well when mixed with other colors. But other than that, I think it's fine. But personally, I prefer tropicals because here we have 3 gray colors, actually 4 sort of neutral colors. We have black, gray, and white, which to me not very useful. I prefer actual colors like green or more primary colors. Alright, let's take a look at Decadent Pie's comparison. So this is much more muted, and color mixing potential, the variations of colors that you can mix from this is also more limited. But this is a set that is good if you want to just use the paint straight from the pen onto the paper, because the colors are already muted. You don't see really vibrant colors in nature, so that's the reason why you can actually use the colors like this onto paper straight. But if you use that like straight, it's going to look, the colors are going to look a bit flat, so some color mixing is still preferred. Alright, let's move on to the demonstration. I have with me this sketch, pen and ink sketch. I'm going to use the Classics color to basically color this sketch today. I have with me, this by the way is the Canson XL mixed media paper. I have also reviewed this paper. I'm trying to use this up, and these are my 2 cups of water. This is the Faber-Castell Click and Go cup, I think. I prefer to have yellow ochre in my watercolor set because it's very convenient when it comes to mixing skin tones. So I don't have that today, so I'm just going to try something like mixing yellow with purple to see what I get, because skin tone usually has lots of yellow. So let me just try and wet this yellow here. You can see some of the colors, they have already stained the mixing well. So this is yellow, and let me mix a bit of purple and see what I can get. Oops. Let me just put down a swatch here. There's too much here. Perhaps a bit of red to warm it up a bit. Maybe a bit more. I think that's about alright. So with yellow ochre, I can mix yellow ochre with the red and get a skin tone. But with this selection of colors that I have, I'm mixing yellow with this purple with a bit of red to warm it up. So let's start with this area here. By the way, the photo reference that I'm using is actually in black and white, so I get to choose whatever colors that I want to use in this sketch. But for the foliage at the back, I know that it's going to be green and dark green. For their clothes, I can choose any color I want, so I will pick a warm palette today. So I'll use mostly reds, orange, and yellow. So let's start with yellow first. With some of the orange to give this kid here the orange singlet, perhaps some red. I can see some sort of granulation going on this paper. Alright, let's see where else I need orange. Alright, so the next is I'll use some red color for this kid's shirt. Red with a little bit of brown, just to make sure that it's not so bright. And for this water fountain, that's going to be this blue ultramarine with some of the brown as well, maybe with red. So let's start from the top. I should leave some speckles of white because some water is actually coming out from the tap. Alright, some of the water has spilled onto the ground as well, so I'm just going to color that. Okay, so let me wait for this area to dry. Meanwhile, I will color the foliage. Now this is where it's quite challenging for this particular set because this blue is too light and too pastel. So if I use this blue to create a green color like this blue with yellow, I will get a yellow green. So this is too bright for me. I can dull it down with some red, but it's going to turn red. It's not very strong. So usually for foliage in the background where it's really dark, where it's under the shadow, I prefer a color that is like phthalo blue or phthalo green. If I want to have a convenient green color, I like phthalo green because you can just add some bit of red and you get a very dark color. So here I can't do that. With this green here, this is also quite bright. This is actually a green that I can mix with ultramarine and the yellow. So again, not very dark for me. I need it to be really very dark. So that's the limitation with this particular set. It's very difficult for me to get dark green unless if I use this black here, which I think it's alright, but I like to mix greens myself. So if I use black like this, it doesn't look as nice because black, the color is quite flat. Usually if I want to get black color, I would mix ultramarine with burnt umber or burnt sienna. And there is a brick wall here. So bricks usually are brown reddish, so I'm going to use my brown reddish combo. This brick wall is actually quite dark, so perhaps some ultramarine as well. I'm trying to dab some red into the wash. So we have the shadow area here, here. Oops. Let me see if I can rescue that. Oops. Oh, I think it's not too bad. Accidents happen. Okay, let me look at the problem area. The problem area is around the head here where the colors are trying to blend in. So let me just dab that. In fact, I think I'm going to remove some of the black here because I'm going to make the hair of this little girl much darker. But before that, I want to add additional shadow tones to the skin. So just now I was using yellow and purple for the skin tone with some red. I'm going to use that again. So perhaps a bit more purple in this case. Alright, I think this is dark enough. So the darker areas is around here, the knees, the back of the leg, and this leg here is darker, and this boy is covering his face, so this will be a bit darker. Now for the head, I think it's a bit too bright right now, so I'm going to use some light purple to basically with some light yellow, just a very light touch. Let me see. Alright, I think this color is nice. Just a very light touch so that it's not so, the white head is not so glaring. Perhaps I might want to color bits of the ground as well. Notice that this paper, it has a green texture that is vertically across the page, which I do not like because it's very distracting. And finally, for this girl, I'm going to give her dark hair with ultramarine and burnt umber light color. I'm now touching up the sketch with my white gel pen. This is very handy, so I added some dots here and there, and also some sparkle onto the water that's on the ground. And there's a highlight here, and some highlights here and here as well. Let's take a closer look at the area where I accidentally overlay black color onto the skin. And this area here versus the shadow area here, you can see the difference. Here it looks quite dead versus here where I actually mix yellow, red and purple. This color is much brighter. At least you can still see some sort of color, but here it feels quite vivid. When I was a beginner learning watercolors, I thought that it would be easier to just mix black into whatever color just to get the shadows, but over the years I learned from other artists, from books and also from personal practice that it's better to mix shadows using complementary colors. For in this case here, I have the skin tone. I just added the complementary colors of the skin tone, which is purple, and I added some red to warm it up to get that shadow area. So this is much more interesting compared to this area here. So you can see that shadow tone here as well. Earlier on, I talked about how I like phthalo blue and phthalo green, how they can give me really dark green. So with this area here, I'm going to touch up with some colors from the tropical set. I'm going to use the dark green here. So you see this color is really strong, and I'm going to add some red to it just to make it a bit darker. So now this color is so much darker and so much nicer. I can add a bit more red to it to make it a bit darker, and it gives me that additional variation when it comes to foliage. So this is the completed sketch. I will post a link to the scan image in the video description. That's all for today's review of the Classics watercolor set from Prima Marketing. As mentioned earlier, I prefer the tropical set because in the Classic set there is white, there is black and there is gray, three colors that I don't really use. So I prefer tropical set because there are more primary colors and more convenient colors. Yes, if you have any questions, do feel free to post them in the comment section below. And thank you for watching. I hope this video has been helpful. See you in the next video. Bye.